I'm Nyla from Active Physiques, head female coach. And today I've got one of my gorgeous clients, Suzie, with us, who's been with the team for 9 months now. So,
hi.
Welcome, Suzie.
Thank you.
We've got a lot in common, haven't we?
There's a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
I think, life experiences.
Exactly. So, both midlife,
Yeah.
single mums,
Yeah.
very busy lifestyles,
Yeah.
and obviously you're into fitness.
Yeah.
So, what were your reasons for joining Active Physiques?
I was kind of stuck in a cycle. I was managing a lot of responsibility. It wasn't fully mine. I was also dealing with a challenge. It went on for just under a year, and I was fighting for an outcome.
Yeah.
The outcome was positive, so it was a massive win. However, going through that process, it's quite personal, but going through the process was like banging my head against a brick wall, and I was determined not to give up. You know, I fought tooth and nail,
Yeah.
and I got the desired outcome. When, you know, that ended, I think I was just emotionally burnt out.
Got you.
I tried to get back in the gym. I was just stuck in this cycle because I'd had to just focus on this that was, you know, I had to deal with. And I tried to get back in the gym, and I just couldn't. That consistency, I was just struggling.
So had you been into the gym for quite a while prior?
I've always. I got into the gym, I think, the first time in my very early 20s. So I've always been into the gym, and I knew that would help me.
Yeah.
I know what helps. And I tried to get back into the gym, and I thought, I'll go to a different gym where they on classes. And I thought I can just go to a private space in the gym, do my class, go home again and get back into it, because I wanted to go to my gym, but I just didn't have the confidence to just go in and start, you know, lifting weights and things that I like to do, I enjoy. So I thought, well, I'll go to these classes, and I just wasn't consistent. I just couldn't break the cycle. And then when I encountered a new challenge, it would floor me, and I wasn't getting back up quick enough.
I see.
And it's because I was completely exhausted and depleted. I'd poured into another cup for practically a whole year, and I wasn't looking after myself, I think. I was just so focused on the desired outcome. And then when that passed, I was just exhausted and couldn't break the cycle.
Okay, got you. So a lot of females, I feel, do that. They put themselves last on the list. They sacrifice their own needs in order to create something or to look after people. And then that leaves you feeling just completely emotionally exhausted, and your central nervous system is fried, and that's why you can't pick yourself up as quickly as you used to. So how did you find Active Physiques? How did that come about?
Well, I'd seen quite a few years ago, I'd seen Clint coach somebody that I used to work with, and the transformation was like phenomenal. 8-week transformation. So I started following him from there, and then a bit of time went past, and he reached out. I think he has like a sixth sense. I think he knows that people need support. And obviously, to begin with, it was like, no, I'm fine. I'm going in the gym. I'm just not posting. I wasn't, but I was just like, no, I'm fine, because I'm hyper independent.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm hyper independent. I don't ask for support. And I was just like, no, I'm fine. And then time went on, and then eventually I said, yeah. I need some help,
So did he just slide into your DMs?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he just has this sixth sense, because I think he's mentioned it before with his outreach.
Yeah.
When he reaches out to people.
I think you've got a point there. I think he just knows. He picks up.
I do think that.
Yeah, he's like a detective, isn't he, as well?
He is.
Yeah. So one of the things that we really focus on, or me in particular, is helping females to overcome their self-limiting beliefs. Yeah. And I feel like we've done some really good work together on that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I think
talk to me about that, where you were feeling at the time when you were stuck compared to now. What's that journey been like for you?
Well, since joining the team, I think stepping into much bigger spaces, networking. In those moments, I felt triggered, and a voice from the past came back to me in those moments and was like, you can't communicate, you can't network. And it was quite consuming. And thankfully, I am self-aware and I know where it came from. I know it isn't my limiting belief. I don't think that about myself. However, if you're in that environment for long enough where you're critiqued, whether whether you believe it or you don't believe it, in those moments, it will trickle into your subconscious.
Yeah.
There's no way of controlling that. And that's what happened.
Like when you realise that you had those self-limiting beliefs, I remember distinctly we had a conversation, didn't we, on Zoom?
Yeah,
deep one. They came up to the surface. I remember you were quite taken back because I kind of identified where that came from a previous relationship. How did that make you feel when you had that light bulb moment?
It was quite exhilarating.
Yeah.
Because I was able to transform myself from how I was thinking and feeling to how I feel now. And those limiting beliefs were never mine.
Yeah.
And in order to move on, you have to step out into your comfort zone. In order to heal, you have to step out of your comfort zone. In order to heal, in order to grow.
That's it.
And
you can't
release
stay
those
comfortable.
limiting beliefs. No.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to shake off that old identity that someone else has projected onto you, because if someone tells you something negative about yourself enough times, you can start to believe it and actually change your behaviours.
It goes right into your subconscious.
Yeah.
Right,
100%.
and you have no control over it, do you? We run our lives around 95%, they reckon, scientifically, around 95% subconsciously.
100%, yeah. I mean, no, 90%, but 100% I agree with you.
Yeah.
And we have the same thoughts on repeat. 90% of those thoughts are on repeat. So we have to reprogram our beliefs. And like you said, that only comes about by actually doing things that we're afraid to do. Things that make us feel uncomfortable, and doing the hard work. Because if we stay safe and we stay in our comfort zone, nothing changes until we change, does it?
That's right, yeah. And that's where you truly grow. And like you say, you release an old part of yourself.
Yeah. So a lot of those, I find, limiting beliefs can sort of stem from childhood as well. Yeah. And then that actually influences the kind of relationships that we end up in throughout our lives. So how do you feel like your childhood sort of affected your self-confidence and your limiting beliefs?
Yeah, so I wasn't mirrored. It was never mirrored back to me. A sense of belong was never mirrored back to me.
Yeah.
So as a kid and teenager, it was really difficult because the outside world concern themselves with where I was from, my ethnicity.
Yeah.
And the outside of my outside environment led me to believe that I didn't belong, because there was a lot of cruel racial abuse.
I find that really hard to believe when I look at you as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy how anyone can go through that.
Yeah. It was really difficult because I already was questioning, where do I belong in this world?
Yeah.
And then to go through childhood with everybody else around you, you don't belong. You don't belong in the country. Where are you from? You're not from around here. And that stayed with me throughout life. Although the narrative changed somewhat, it went from cruelty to curiosity.
Yeah.
And as I became an adult, the narrative changed slightly, but people were still curious about where I was from. So when I started going out to, the bars and pubs and work and things, holidays as well, everywhere I went, I was always asked. If I had £1 for every time somebody asked me, where are you from? And I'd say Manchester, and they'd say, I knew it was coming. No, where are you from? Yeah.
I've experienced the same thing.
Have you?
Yeah. It's like mirrored what you're saying to me.
Wow.
But I also had that sense of not really belonging as well, even though I had a stable upbringing.
Yeah.
And I knew my dad
Yeah.
before he passed away. We didn't have contact after the age of like 9, and I had a really stable upbringing by my mum. But it still really makes you feel like awkward when every time you meet somebody new, almost, it's where are you from?
Oh, yeah.
Because it makes you feel like an outsider.
It does make you feel like an outsider. And I wanted to blend in, especially as a child.
Yeah.
As a young person, as a teenager, I did not want to stand out.
Nobody does.
And I felt like I stood out for all the wrong reasons. It was like, oh, don't even look at me. I did not want to stand out.
It makes you shrink yourself, doesn't it?
Shrink massively, yeah.
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 And it affects your self-esteem.
Massively.
So I feel like this is another similarity between us, because obviously we grow and we learn and we overcome these questions and, like you said, curiosity. And I feel like I'm very comfortable now, you know, with who I am. Absolutely nothing to be down on or to avoid. I definitely don't avoid, and I actually enjoy it now, you know, when people ask me where I'm from. But I must admit, I don't get it very often.
No, not as much as you
in
did.
adulthood. But when I was a child, I think if you've got tan skin and dark hair, I stuck out like a sore thumb in primary school. And then I would say in my teenagers also, like you, going out to bars and clubs and meeting new people. And like you said, 20s, new job, not so much anymore. I feel like because society is so much more mixed and cosmopolitan, and mixed race kids are everywhere, you know, to me, and it's like, it's just a lot more acceptable to see people with darker skin, you know. I don't feel like I look that unusual anymore, but back in the day, it was definitely something that I experienced. Where are you from? And like you said, you'd say you're from Manchester, but almost feel like you know what's coming next.
I knew.
So I'm a fraud for saying I'm from Manchester, but I am from Manchester. I've been born and brought up here.
Get you.
Yeah. So it does. It makes you feel like
shrink,
awkward. Like where am I from? So did you actually know your ethnicity? Sorry, when you were younger.
I didn't know my ethnicity. However, like, what changed with the narrative was I actually went on to take my validation from the outside world, because it went from cruelty to curiosity. And people were actually, as I became an adult, were kind about it, and I had some great conversations and met some great people around it, around those conversations. But the narrative did change for the better, and I ended up embracing it.
Yeah.
But it was still questioned every time I started a new job, every single job that I've been in. And then I think because the outside world told me that I'm different, I did my DNA test, and I didn't do it for me. I did it because of this noise from the outside environment. Yeah. And then when it came back that I'm full mixed, half and half, it was just a massive shock to the system. Just to add, though, I think finding out has brought about, grief came about with finding out.
Sure.
And it's because the likelihood is I will never get to experience the lineage that I had a God-given right to experience.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it, actually. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And that's because you've not got any contact with your father, isn't it, and his family, and it would be hard for you to locate him now in adulthood. Yeah. So I understand that. I did a Zoom last night, didn't I, on the subject of grief. And although I didn't talk about that in that particular situation, I feel like it's transferable to that. It's like grieving for something that's missing that maybe you've never had.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you feel about it now? When did you get your DNA test results? Was it a while ago?
It was about 2 years ago.
And what's that process been like from receiving it to where you are now?
I initially wish I hadn't bothered doing the DNA test. Yeah, I do, because I didn't do it for me. I did not do that for me. I did it for everybody else. I didn't expect to be half of something. It was a massive shock to the system. And talking about grief will always be with me. And that stems from childhood, I think, not having the parents.
Yeah.
I've always grieved that.
Yeah.
And I think accepting that is what gets me through.
100%.
Yeah. And, you know, I wake up sometimes. It's few and far between now. It's nothing. But the odd day I'll wake up and I'll know that grief's with me and I just feel numb all day. And it's just a case of, okay, grief's with me today and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I still function, still, you know, do whatever it is that I need to do. I still function and get about my day. But it's there and I'm aware. And it never lasts more than a day.
That's good.
Oh, it
You
is.
can
It's
see
fantastic.
the pattern.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that would be something that would be taking over your life if it lasted longer than that. If
100%.
days rolled into weeks and then they rolled into months.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that you have to really confront head on. I feel like you having this information, it's uncomfortable. It's not something that you wanted, but I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Massively.
You know?
100% agree.
How do you explain that to your children now? Because obviously they're quarter something.
They are, yeah.
How do they feel?
They love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they
You're
love
exotic.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I've definitely embraced, as I've became, you know, as I navigated into an adult, I've definitely embraced being different. I've accepted that I'm different and that's okay.
So, I mean, experiences like this, they shape who we are.
Oh, they do.
Adversity helps us grow as people.
Yeah.
You know, anyone that I admire in life, they've never had anything handed to them on a plate.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they've fought for who they are. They've overcome very difficult situations and it's made them more of a interesting person with depth.
Yes.
And I love to talk to people about their past experiences or even what they're going through now. But normally when they've lived through something and they've come out the other side, that's when they can speak about it with positivity and share their experiences. And I find that super, super interesting. That's probably the reason why I always listen to podcasts and it's really helped me grow as a person and get outside of my head. So we've talked about, you know, being independent as females and being strong, particularly when you've got children. So how do you feel like your past has shaped the way that you are now?
Oh, it's me. I'm extremely strong because of my past experiences, resilience. It's taught me kindness. It's taught me how not to treat people. It's taught me a huge amount of self-respect because if you can treat people in an ill-mannered way, you can't have much self-respect for yourself. So it taught me a huge amount of self-respect. And just really how not to treat people.
Yeah, I remember my mum always saying to me when I complained to her, like, about other people, I would say, you know, such a person's done this or done that and I didn't like it. And she'd say, Nyla, they're not weird just because they're not like you.
Yeah.
And another thing she used to always say, she brainwashed me with, treat people how you would like to be treated.
Exactly.
And I feel like when you do that and then people don't treat you back with that same respect, that can hurt sometimes, can't it?
Yeah, it can.
You know what I mean? When you're not treated with the respect that you would give to others.
Yeah.
So how have you dealt with that situation? Because people aren't always kind, are they?
They're not, no. I just accept that everybody projects, and what they are projecting onto another person says more about them than you. Their beliefs, that we hold mirrors up, don't we, to one another, especially in interpersonal relationships and things.
Yeah.
And I think if someone's projecting onto you, it's normally their beliefs about themselves, and they're just trying to project it onto
definitely.
another person.
Yeah,
I think
feel
it's
like
their
when
own
you've got that
limitations,
their
own emotional limitations, and their own emotional maturity.
Yeah, 100%.
They're just projecting outwardly.
I think when you get to a point in your life and I notice this happens with females in midlife, right? You become more authentically yourself.
Oh, 100%.
And you stop caring about other people's opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but all the way through my life up until about the age of 40, I was so concerned about what people thought of me. It actually made me shrink myself and not dare do things that were outside my comfort zone, where I could possibly, like, I would think, what would people think? Who does she think she is? Or does she look silly or make mistakes? You know, to me, and that would be something to heckle. And then you get to a point when you realise, actually, nobody's better than anybody else. And in order to be happy, you have to be authentically yourself.
I get where you're coming from, though. And I think everybody goes through part of that. I think when I started to experience the outside world finally validating me from a young adult, I think I seemed to learn. It did me the world of good, and it gave me this confidence. And I think underneath all that, the confidence and the strength that I had, because I was a young mom and had to be strong, and grow up really, really quickly. Even in my childhood, prior to becoming a mother, I had to grow up really quickly. And I realised that actually the validation from the outside world, it has to come from within. Outside validation, you know, you might have someone who has 20 likes compared to someone who has 2,000 likes on the socials. The person with the 20 likes are no less than the person with the 2,000 likes. And it's all that comparing one another. And I have been through that as a young person myself. However, I learned that validation, everything has to come from within.
100%.
Everything.
I'm glad you made that comparison with social media.
Yeah.
Because I can completely relate to that, you know. Well, majority of people are on social media now.
That's right.
You know, this is like part of life. And I think I'm really happy that it wasn't part of my life when I was younger and I was so impressionable. Even when, I didn't actually get onto Instagram until quite late on. I think it was 2016.
I was 2015.
Really? Yeah, around that time. And it had been a thing for a few years. And I remember I was a Facebook mum at the time. And my friend was like, oh, you need to get on Instagram. It's much better than Facebook. And I was like, I don't get it. Why do people just share the pictures? And now that is how I earn a living, just by being fully on Instagram. But, you know, when you stop caring about the likes and the validation and you fully are being authentically yourself, it's like, it's empowering.
It's empowering. It gives you freedom.
Yeah.
You're in this cage, aren't you?
Yeah.
We put ourselves in this cage and it just gives you freedom because it doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things.
No.
It doesn't, you know, measure your worth as a human being.
No.
It's just, but that's like another world, isn't it? Where we do, some people can take validation from, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
And I think if social media was a thing when I was a kid growing up and a teenager, I don't think I'd have survived.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've both got daughters. Mine's 16, going on 17. And I'm pleased to say, although she does have social media, she's not especially active on it.
That's fine.
You know, she's got a profile picture and it's a private account and she very, very rarely posts anything. I'm the one that's more active than her, obviously. It's like role reversal. But I feel like you've just got to be so careful to protect your mental health. And especially now that my following has grown, it's inviting a lot of, I would say, opinionated people.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. And so I did a funny post recently, didn't I, where I sort of shared, don't know if you saw it, but I shared some of the DMs that, you know, from randomers that slide into my DMs, some of the comments. Or even they're bold enough to put, let's say, nasty comments online that everyone else can read as well under the captions. And the old me would have been mortified. I probably would have taken the picture down.
Would you?
But you know that you've grown as a person when those comments don't penetrate you.
Yes.
You read them, they might sting. I'm not going to lie, because I'm human and I've got feelings. They sting for a second And then I completely laugh it off because you know what, Susie?
Go on.
These comments, believe it or not, they don't come from women. You always hear in society, right, that women don't support women.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I get the most support from other females,
Brilliant.
right?
Yeah.
These nasty little comments come from incels, from guys that have either fake accounts or they're, let's say, not doing very well in life and look like they haven't had a woman in a long time, right? And they would be the ones that send me nasty comments or put them under my captions. And I just think...
It's very sad, isn't it?
It's really sad. And I think the point of me saying this is I understand where you're coming from. When people criticise you, it's not from people that are happy within themselves.
Oh, it's absolutely not.
It's the absolute
It's not.
opposite. So I just think, sad little man.
Yeah, sad,
You know,
yeah.
and don't give them the energy,
No,
you know.
don't waste.
You can read it and then leave it and
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah, don't waste your energy. Save it for yourself, for all the good stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So what's coming next for you?
What's coming next?
Yeah.
I'd love to have my own podcast. I
Yeah.
mean, it would be amazing to, because I feel a lot of society carrying a lot of weight, one you know, in one form or another. And it would be really nice to create a space where people can talk openly without shame, share their experiences, either
Yeah.
what they've been through, what they're going through, how they're navigating, and solutions as well.
Yeah, so
Like a
how did that idea
solution-based-
come about for you?
I just feel really aligned. I think you and I talking about this, you and I doing a podcast together, I just feel really aligned by it because I want a life of purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm an empath, aren't
Yeah.
I? So I want to give back. And I feel like if we all lived a life of service to others, the world would be a better place.
100%. I agree with you there because before I got into coaching, I felt like I really enjoyed my previous career. It was a lot of fun, you know, being in the media and doing hair and
Yeah.
makeup and work with models, and yeah, it was a great lifestyle, but I didn't feel like it was truly me. I felt like I was playing a role at times, you know, to me, and I felt like, or at other times when I was immersed in that and I was enjoying it, I felt like there was always something else, something
you.
missing. And when you actually do find your purpose and that alignment,
Yeah.
it gives you the biggest confidence boost you'll ever feel by helping other people and actually making a difference to other people. It makes you feel so fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Why don't you do it?
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
Not a maybe. I will.
I will.
We have to
I
change our
will.
language,
We have
don't
to change our language
and speak it into reality.
Yes, yeah. My son said this morning, I hope it goes well. I said, oh no, we don't use the whole word hope.
You know what? I said that the other day and Clint told me off.
Yeah, he does.
You do. You forget sometimes,
You
don't
forget
you?
sometimes, but if you're conscious of it, you can correct it.
Yeah. So you've had a great 9 months with us. You know,
Yeah,
you've
I
made
have.
some
It's been
really
superb.
nice relationships, I would say, on the team.
Have. Yeah, I have. Yeah, and I'm
And
sure.
you've been to majority of our events as well.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
What would you say has been the highlight of your journey so far?
The mindset, I think, the mindset motivation, because that's where I learnt the most about it. Although it was triggered in the you know, within the environment,
Yeah.
I learnt the most about it. I
What
learnt
do you
the
mean
most
you were
about
triggered?
myself. Just because that's where my limiting beliefs were brought to the surface.
Got you.
You know, you can't communicate. You can't communicate.
Yeah.
You can't network, and
Yeah.
that's what
Your
came to the
opinion
forefront.
isn't valid.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
my opinion
Yeah.
of myself, but it fed into my subconscious.
Yeah, so circling back to that, when you first have that realisation, mind blows you, doesn't it?
It did. Yeah, I found it a relief and exhilarating, all a number of different emotions. A little bit sad that I'd allowed that to happen, but I hadn't really allowed that to happen. If you are in an environment long enough and, you know, there's negative conversations, let's just say, you will be affected if you're in that environment long enough, because our environment shapes who we are.
Oh, it's been really nice chatting to you, Suzie.
Yeah,
If you
it's been
could
great.
leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would that be?
One piece of advice would be to really understand, to go and to heal, you have to really understand that anybody's limiting beliefs that they place onto you are never, ever yours. They're projecting whatever it is, their shit, onto you, and those limited beliefs are not yours.
Absolutely.
And I think when you understand that, you can go on to really heal, because you can detach, and it gives you emotional freedom.
I agree fully. Great advice. And just to finish that off, what practical steps can you give to our listeners in order to heal, to get over that, shake off those limiting beliefs?
Yeah, I think spend time with yourself and really understand yourself.
Yeah.
Really understand what's holding you back, because your thoughts connect to your behaviours connect to your actions.
Yeah.
And I think if you really sit with yourself and understand yourself, I think from then you can go on to really heal. Just take
Lovely.
time with yourself.
Suzie, thanks so much for sharing your experiences. I really feel like when you open up and you're vulnerable, even if it helps just one person that's listening, it's so satisfying. So thanks again. And guys, if you want to check us out on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Healthy by Nyla, and obviously at Active Physiques if you want to see the amazing work that we do to help people transform not only the physiques but the mindset. And thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll do it again soon.